highlight things that I might have mentioned about certain companies and stuff like that. But and that we all of us shared, because I think that we all have some type of wisdom that we bring in. So for instance, James, and please jump in. This is free dialogue. I know you can't see my friend Yannick. He's here too.
Yep.
so so like he'll be jumping in. I'm more of a face than he is. He's background. He likes his background.
But let's get it.
Yeah, but like I said, he mentioned earlier, like there was a certain play that was dealing with body cameras on police officers, right? So because that the whole Biden administration is coming in now, and Trump, who was always about supporting the police, he saw that as not being a good trade, where I saw it technically as something that had some type of profitability. I was wrong, he was right, but it still just shows that when you bring minds together, it allows you, it gives you an opportunity to really broaden your perception of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When did you get into it, that particular play?
I got into on that one on, I think it was last week Monday, actually. It was last week Monday. Then I'll show you what DGLY looked like. So as you can tell on the chart here, like, and I took a bad loss on GM that I like. That's actually a YouTube video I can't wait to do, because I got in, made money on the contract, and then when I tried to get in on the top, it was coming back down, and I didn't know. I didn't know that was going to happen. I got caught up in that. But DGLY, you see, it has some spikers.
Yeah.
So that is what I was looking for. I was looking for a spike on this day, on this candlestick day. The very next day, that didn't happen. That was that Monday where everything tanked.
Right.
And I think that's what happened here on Ford. It was that Monday that everything tanked. So it was like, yeah, this is not really working. So it was like, just take losses. So unfortunately, I still have one contract in here because I thought my E-Trade account sold it, but it didn't.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that pretty much sucked, but that's okay.
I see.
But yeah, like, so there's some,
because I would be more, I would think that moving forward, cameras will be very important to the new administration.
You would think it would be important?
Yeah, absolutely. They want to like protect people from, have more body cameras, like follow through on certain protocol to police the police. For sure that's going to happen.
Right.
It doesn't seem like that's a going away play moving forward.
Not at all. Not at all.
I do see why it did not go up, because it's the administration.
Yeah.
You have to wait and see where Biden is at, where if it is a defund the police thing, or what body cameras they're probably going to go behind with, or like all those things. I don't feel there's any confidence yet with even with police cameras, because we get killed on police cameras. So
really,
I see it as more of an administrational thing. Where you feel confident that Biden or whoever is in control of that, I can see that happening. I just consider it as, jumping in too early, like I do it, like what I did with GM the other day. You know what I mean? Thinking that it will go up, and it was on a downtrend. It's just a bad price point.
Yeah, no, that I get, but it's like if I had it, I might accept the losses for the moment,
right.
And just ride it out, depending how much I'm putting into it, because it's like an indicator. It's like it's a good idea, I think, overall.
Yeah, long term, I think is good as well. I'm with you on that, James.
Yeah.
I just, during that time where it was still that, is Trump going to be president or Biden going to be president?
Right. Yeah.
it didn't turn out to be the best trade on Monday. And I just like to thank Davin and Daryl for jumping in. Thank you so much.
Shout out,
yeah, definitely. So like it became a little bit harder for that to be an acceptable day trade, but a long-term play, I'm totally with you on that, James.
Right. Definitely see that.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No. I'm just definitely for that moment. It's been a wild week, trying to understand everything. Not that we ever will.
Right. Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of earnings coming out this week, and because of that, we have like the communication sector that's supposed to put out some earnings with Sirius XM. So I was looking at Sirius XM, and there's a couple of China plays, SOHU, SOHU. Yeah, so they're coming out with earnings tomorrow morning, and there's been a lot of talk about how the Chinese stock are going to play in the American markets.
Yeah.
So like thinking of where it's going to be next year, if it's going to be in the Hong Kong or if it's going to be in America, based on the type of relationship that President-elect Biden is going to be able to form with the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's everybody's take on that? Like, how do you feel about China and how it might affect American communication companies?
I mean, Trump had a stance on China, but Chinese government is congratulating, which was very big, congratulating Biden on his president-elect. So that right there, if you're in business, is an olive branch to see if you could do business. So, they've been getting flack for 5G, the virus, and any other thing. So right now, I know they're looking for some type of new relationship. So anything optimistic, it could affect the market in a positive way until something is, these from now to January is very, very volatile. There's not going to be any really stability until you know what's going on until Biden's in. I say with that's how I feel.
Right.
Because everything's just based on politics, but it is because China and the U.S. had a strained relationship towards the end of the year. So, anything with good news with the new administration, I see it being a good thing in the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that China, they blocked the Ant IPO,
yes.
And they've been getting into some regulations, and so to me that looks like they're trying to like stabilize and make more secure, more secure investments. Regulated environment is basically looks like what they're after. So that looks like they're trying to work with where we're moving forward. That's how I've seen it.
And I agree, like especially with that fintech of Ant, that would be a definite strong power move with Jack Ma, but there's only so much that you can say in the Chinese government. But at the same time, kudos on what you're saying is that there's more protection amongst investors in China, where it seemed like some of the investments that are Chinese based in America has a lot more volatility and it might be a lot more riskier, as some investors do not like Chinese stocks because they feel that they're so sketchy.
Yeah, but they produce a lot of results, and they're always working as long as you navigate in and out. But there are like definitely companies. I forget who went down, this coffee company this year.
Luckin brand.
Yeah, Luckin. And like they were bullshitting the whole time. So it seems that they're trying to do some efforts to curb that. So yeah, it is very interesting what will happen next.
This is Daryl. I'm going long on Alibaba. I'm going long on NIO.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And you know, JD.
JD.
You know,
Yes.
JD.
like so.
I believe they're coming out with earnings too this week, tomorrow or Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up.
That's good. Yeah, because I mean, those are strong. The strong companies. You know, the stocks have done well. You know, over the past year or so.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I think when you look at electric vehicles, I think China just said that by 2035 they want they want the whole country driving electric vehicles.
Yeah, they do. Especially
Yeah.
you're right. Especially with that Hyundai shit and Nikolai and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely right on that one. And South Korea too.
China's on the forefront. I had done some TV work. It was like some world meeting about the environment, and China was ahead of everything.
Nice.
And they're just going all electric, and they could make cities in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. China's next to me. It's next level. Like I'm looking at China companies and China stocks. You know, I'm investing heavily in them over the the next few years. At least looking at them, you know, as serious investment.
Mm-hmm.
You like Alibaba long term?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Going to the it's funny you said that because you know at my job we actually get a lot of product from Alibaba in the sense of like denim, jeans, buttons, and what it's funny when the stock was down, the shipping cost was higher. And when the stock is doing well, the shipping cost was lower. And now the factories are now able to have those orders that they used to have. And we weren't before. So you saying that just confirmed what me being a person who orders from Alibaba when it comes to our like merch, that okay, we're not the only ones picking it up because now we're getting better prices on clothes. So and merch. So that's a good note that you're saying that as well. You know, you're saying it's long term for you. Especially going with the technicals as well.
Oh, and Pinduoduo, you know, PDD.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Education online.
Yeah.
Yes.
For consumer world, like this is the future of shopping. Is that they took GroupMe or Groupon and like turned it into like a Amazon all together and getting wholesale on items by group buying. And they're being imitated. I was traveling around Asia and a lot of like other countries try to imitate what they do. They're really good.
Oh wow. So what is it about their structure really good?
They're like China's with their AI is like top notch, and they just make it's this group buying experience in order to get better deals. So I just feel like that's where we are now, like in all this hoarding and protecting, you know, all this stuff that we're getting into. That's what they do. They make deals together and it's easy and fun, you know, Chinese style.
So
like TikTok, you know, like they learn what your interests are, and like Amazon, the algorithm's really good, but a Pinduoduo like that will it's really going after you.
You know, it's crazy you said that because they tested something in China which they already have on the internet system, where they have something like that where they were testing if you went to a store and you order the food, it will go to all your friends, the food that you like and that you rated automatically. Like you would know that. I know you didn't have to tell me, but I knew that you went there to go get the food and you rated it 5 stars.
Damn.
And then it will come to my phone and say, hey, your friend who's on your contact list went over here and they thought this was great. You should check it out. Because
your friend is already in the contact list.
And you're using that web server that China has. So it's all integrated. So what he's saying makes total sense. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I hear 3 powerhouse. Well, we only mentioned 2, but I hear 3 powerhouse companies that are internet based and consumable goods in China. So we heard Alibaba,
JD,
Pinduoduo, and JD. But what about Tencent? How does Tencent fit into all of this?
They fit in all the way. They own it all. They the bank that they finance it.
All the way.
He's so silly.
Everything.
Because I know that Tencent, you know, was looking for a way to, what is it, THC? I don't even know. But they were looking for a way to get in on that SOHU deal, right? So earlier in the summer, later in the summer, I should say, Tencent jumped in and was like, hey, you know, we know that you offer games and other accessories and stuff like that. You know, we want to pretty much buy you out for $9 a share. And at the time, it was virtually trading near $9 a share. But after that deal, it went up to $10. And now, mind you, there's no deal has been really constructed. Like nothing has really been agreed upon, just to the fact that Tencent said, hey, we want to buy you for $9 a share. So like when we think of all these internet companies that are in China with the type of regulations that they have, it's amazing to me how much that they're able to move as far as on the, you know, as far as stock price is concerned. And there's like 4 or 5 of them, where in America you have, you know, one internet company or one social media company is trying to battle out like an Amazon or another consumable goods deliverer or Walmart, Target, just for that same type of market share. So it's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. Tencent is good.
You know, NIO, Solo, NIU, XPEV. You have a lot of like opportunities in the Chinese market now. So it's like, wow, the things that I never knew of, I'm being, you know, brought to light. So thank you for sharing that.
Good looks.
Has anyone mentioned China Mobile or made a play on China Mobile or think it's feasible or no? Or
What, I have no background on that one. What is China Mobile?
CHL. It's on the New York Stock Exchange. CHL is the ticker. It's a telecom stock. I don't know. It wasn't doing well the last time I checked it out, but they were investing in 5G, but I don't know if anybody.
So just looking at his chart, I can see, yeah, it is having a decline. It's just retesting this 200 simple moving average a whole lot. And then it might come back to its lows around the $30 area. But, you know, once that simple moving average starts to get closer to the price point that it's trading at, you know, there would be chance for upside. I know people look for stuff like that from the downside on up, like riding the wave. So like Play, Dave & Buster's, that was one where it was like below the simple moving average, the 200, and this slow grind until now you get a consolidation of the moving averages. So maybe this might jump up to retest, you know, the $47 area, you know? So yeah, I would say, you know, definitely keep an eye on it for sure, just to see if that coalescing of prices happens. But like I said, I'm looking at it without knowing any real background on the actual company. If it's a 5G company, why not? Like this is, you know, we're heading into the 5G era.
And that's the only reason I took a look at it.
That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, 5G is definitely going to be a wave with all these companies. Like, has anyone looked at T-Mobile?
Yeah, they send me shit. They must got money. They send me shit.
But he ain't lying. They must got money.
They said on the phone. They said AT&T, we got you $60.
Yeah, it's funny because like ever since them and Sprint became, you know, essentially one company, but still distinctive brands some way, they've been doing well. And then they came out with earnings earlier last month, and then, you know, here we go. They went from, you know, the 100s to 128 right now, so, or the low 100s to 128, and it looks like it could still break out a little bit further. So, you know, that's definitely another company that I would, you know, wished I was in, you know, prior to that Sprint deal.
They're doing the TV stuff now.
TV?
Yeah, they have a TV. Unplugged TV type style, subscription-based television.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
See, wow, that is something I had no idea on. See, and, it's like, since everyone is at home, it gives them an opportunity to really view, more content, whatever it is, you're going to have an opportunity to digest it. So, yeah.
And the TV industry is not too happy with them.
Do they have a deal with like NBC or ABC, or like, are there any of those like major, or were they part of the major broadcasting systems?
So all of those major channels have over the air broadcasting. So like those channels are free, generally in whatever area you're in, and a lot of services can offer that to you, like Plex or something. And T-Mobile does the TV, the like more cable channels. I think they offer like regular, I think that's like part of it, but.
So it's almost like Fubo kind of a way.
Fubo.
Yeah, Fubo is it's like Pluto TV, where you get that free streaming television type of thing, but they focus primarily on.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But a little bit now it has channels. I think you could do HBO and things like that. Like,
yeah.
They're trying to like corner the whole, because it's not about TV now, it's about data and a network. The network is a larger idea now.
Yeah, the network
Mobile's good.
Yeah, that one is definitely like a portfolio stalker, if I ever say so myself. Like after it makes its new highs, it should come back down.
Some pullback, right?
Yeah, it should pull back to 115 at some point, but that's probably after this breakout, whatever it does tomorrow or this week, because of communication sector as a mover.
But yeah, I mean they bought a Sprint, right?
Yeah, they bought out Sprint, and I believe the CEO stepped down. He has long hair, like black long hair.
That guy.
Yeah. He stepped down a bit, but I like his personality. He's pretty like quirky. It's like wacky. You kind of not know, almost like an Elon Musk. He's gonna say something wild, and you're gonna be like, I never thought of that type of, not like I'm about to kill humans type of wild, but something that's kind of different out of the box.
German style humor.
Right. I'm looking at some of these earnings, like, that's why I keep on going back onto my phone and seeing what earnings are actually coming out. So I know NIO was mentioned earlier, and I know that people will have a position in this. So, so does anyone have any questions about kind of going over like just the actual chart and seeing what it looks like and what maybe a possible game plan might be for tomorrow? Oh, not tomorrow, but Tuesday. Tuesday going into Wednesday. Because if we look at NIO, like before that drop, right, it did on Friday, we see that it had this technical breakout here. This is like my favorite pattern, the bullish engulfing pattern, right? And then it jumped up. Like I didn't even get a chance to take the meat of the move, but it did very, very well, all the way on up, right? So biggest thing here is now on Monday.
Let's see this right down on.
All right, so Yannick is seeing, what you seeing back here? What's going on?
Oh yeah, I thought it was, I thought it was the 200.
No, the 200 is all the way down here. Yeah.
All right, cool. So because every time these cross, I'm looking to see wherever the pullback might be, but you're looking at a year chart, so my fault.
All right, so like let me bring up people to speed. So if they're looking at the chart, they'll be able to actually see what I'm referring, what you're referring to. So typically, I learned, using moving averages, not as a way to get an exact price, but just to get something that's like roundabout near with a low risk entry, right? So when you have the opportunity of a low risk entry, it gives you an opportunity to get higher upside. So a lot of times what I've seen is that when the moving averages, the green line is a 5 exponential moving average, and the teal line, bluish line, is a 20 simple moving average. The red line is the 200 simple moving average. So anytime when a stock trades above the 5 exponential moving average, typically it goes higher. It might have a little pullback, especially if it like the relative strength is too strong. But once it's had that upside, it's going to come back and retest the 20 simple moving average.
Yeah, that's what
right?
Right there.
Once it tests that simple moving average there, and the MACD lines doesn't cross, if they do not cross, it's going to go back up on the upside. But if they do cross, it's going to come back down. So here we see that the MACD lines haven't crossed, but the relative strength is coming down. And if we look on the day, like we just see the candlestick itself, the candlestick has like a whole bunch of sellers right here. Like it's really thick. And that price point is like between 44.50 to about $51, right? So that's about $8, almost $9 of upside, downside, like, spread price. So typically what I tend to do is go back to the hour chart. And the hour chart really gives us a little bit more understanding of how much lower the price could go. So when we look at the price, not only are we seeing that there's like some type of support here, where we see it at $40, but we also see that it's close to the simple moving average, a 20-day simple moving average. So the biggest thing that I see first is that it's going to test the support, $40, before it tries coming down to this 200 SMA, which is $1.50 lower. Now we also see that the RSI is near support too. This is now where on the RSI for the hour, it shows that there might be an opportunity for buyers to come in because it's already overbought. It came from a day where it was, it sold off. So typically when it sells off, you get an opportunity where you can start buying up shares on the bottom, right? If we're looking for a day entry point, I go to the minute chart. And on the minute chart, and I should like open up this a little bit more so you're not just seeing one chart. Sorry about that. So on the minute chart, this kind of expands back to the pre-market movement on Friday. You see it made an all-time high of $54 before, not this going below the 200, but trending with the 200, right? So now we see that the 200 SMA on the minute chart is around $43. So what I typically tend to do is I'll start from the all-out year-to-year chart, bring it down to the hour, then bring it to the minute, and then from the minute I start looking at the price that shows some type of like relative support or mainstay. So around $43, $44, that's where it was in the pre-market in the after hours. It closed at $44.56. That's almost $1 below. Let me move this out the way. On the RSI, it's showing that it's overbought. So the biggest thing that I see is that when the pre-market opens around 4 a.m., it should maybe go to like $45. I say $45 because this is the next high over here before the market closed. It could test that before coming back down and retesting the $40 here, right? So that's the $3 of space, right? And we all know EVs are going to go, that's going to be the wave of the future. But people that are going to day trade this are probably going to be mad on the thinking that's going to go on the upside if no support really starts finding itself around the $38 or $40 range. If no support fine is being held there, as we go to the hour chart, and on the hour chart, we see once again around that $40 area. We see this the typical kind of low was 38.68 ish, right, to $40. We see that as heavy support, right? Right here on Friday. If this cannot be held on Monday, and some short seller like wants to come out and continue talking about EVs because apparently Andrew left has a lot to say. So you have to really start thinking on the downside risk where this price could go, and if it would cross below this 200 SMA price. Because if it does do that, it's definitely going to go lower, in my opinion, right? But I really hope that it can hold this $38, $40 area, so that when the price comes, it bounces off that $40 area during the pre-market. So you won't see this during the actual day, but you will see a bounce up here, and it engulfs the previous red day. That's what I hope that could happen, so that on Tuesday, when they come out with earnings and they say that they have positive revenues like all the other EVs, then it will just gap up another higher, maybe to $100. Right? But like I said, when a stock is trading above the 5 EMA, the chances are of it going higher it is increased, and it closed at 44.56. So, and the 5 EMA was 44.04, right? So it's very narrow, but it still has, if news comes out right and support is really being held at that $38 area, we will know how strong it is for Tuesday. Does anybody have any comments? I know that was like 10 minutes of explanation, but I wanted to make sure I kind of share that.
So if the earnings is good and the support is like it holds, let's say money drops like 38, but it doesn't go anything like 37, 36. It doesn't do nothing crazy. The news as well on Tuesday, because you know how it is. Well, with me and earnings, for some reason, earnings is like crazy because the news could be good, and the stock could move, or it could move later on in the week. I've been in a situation where the earnings have come out, everything seems good, and it's been 2 red days, and then I could be like, fuck this. And day 3, $54 to 100, like
right,
and you're like, I missed it. What the hell happened? I don't know. It's crazy like that. You know what I mean? So
it's tough to jump in on a stock before earnings.
Yeah, right before it is crazy. After is ideal. That's been my mistake. I usually try to, like 2 weeks before earnings, I do try to get a little profit, but closer and the day of, I've learned the hard way. It's not it. Even if it's good news, I've been in the red before. It's usually just for it to sell and see what type of, with the news, what if it's real good news or it's just chat, or what's supporting that news as well. Then yeah, with the technical. So I just have to write those notes down.
Yeah, I don't mess with earnings anymore. But if I was, I would jump in 2 weeks before and get out the day of or the day before. But playing through earnings has been like risky and losing lately, So I stay away from that. I stay away from playing through earnings.
The past quarter, a lot of their earnings were higher than estimated because there was such a negative conclusion about where futures are headed. And I guess now is the important time to look at how some of these, what they're saying now that they beat their estimates. Was it still, is it all going to follow that trend? I think will be interesting.
And that's true. Like the trend has been for all these EVs is positive revenues.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're posting positive profits, which is the purpose of a business, but the mere idea of electric vehicles, Paris Agreement, right? The Paris Agreement with Biden definitely jumping back in on that. It definitely, this shows that, fossil fuels will really be out of existence and will be all battery powered.
Yeah, very much. Have you seen those cars?
They are pretty futuristic.
They're really futuristic. They belong in Minnesota or something. Wyoming.
Let me see what cars they have. It's because I remember one looked like a box, but it was like a limo on the inside. It was kind of like U-shaped.
Yeah, it's a party bus.
I'm not sure if that was Fisker. I think that was Fisker.
NIO has very round and sleek, futuristic stuff.
Wow, this is interesting. Oof. This is really like on someone. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a car person, but that's
BMW. It looks like that BMW shit and the freaking hard.
That's all. Yeah, that's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
Sheesh. See, I like these big body cars. I'm always about. I want to run cars over and stuff, but these. That's just me. But I do think it was Fisker, right? Or I think that's how it was spelled. They have some nice cars.
Yeah, Fisker cars are pretty good looking cars from what I remember. I don't know what they look like.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. It doesn't seem too bad at all. But which they also had a nice chart going into Friday or coming out of Friday. They actually survived like the whole like Andrew left topic. Like I wanted to get in actually on this day. I was really going to get in. I forgot the reason why I got out. I'm not sure if it was in a private chat room that someone said, oh, good luck with that because they sold off some shares earlier in the year, when they just came in because they were a SPAC. So like they came out and, a lot of people weren't really trusting it. And that's why, you have this kind of decline, but still, when I love the technicals and this was definitely one of them. It's traded over to 5 EMA. And you see the spike is just becoming overbought now. Yeah. And it's about to retest its all-time high. I don't see why that, with all the news that we're coming into this upcoming week, and it survived the apocalyptic fall with NIO and XP, EV, and all this stuff. Like, it actually did pretty well. And, this is something that I could see, this actually making a move during the week.
Nice.
Man, I wouldn't see why. Like, if EVs are doing it, like, you ride the wave. Like, Solo was one of those wave riders, like here it is again, like engulfing. Like this whole bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Once it goes overbought, like how it was over here, like back here, it was kind of like it was engulfed, overbought, came back down. It was like, all right, we'll come down. And it came down to the 20 SMA, right? And then all you had to do is ride the wave until it goes back up, right? It is consolidated for some time. So, I don't know. Like I'm holding GM currently. So like, that's one that I'm like, I don't plan on really selling it until it breaks out to not all-time highs, but multi-month highs. I see it, breaking out above 41. Maybe going to 45, hopefully. So I do plan on holding this for a little bit more time, particularly during this week. Who knows what their Chevy Bolt will do?
Batteries.
It's still battery, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now anybody else have anything that they want to bring up with the car sectors, like with the electric cars?
BLNK.
But yeah, that's battery.
And anything. I need to study the sectors in that.
I was playing this a whole lot. I wanted every up on it.
I see this.
I like day trades galore.
Arrows on here.
Yeah, day trades. Like even like back here when I was like, yes, this is amazing over here. So like it did do a lot of consolidation for a while, and then now we've seen that it's in this little channel here. And BLNK, if we're not very familiar with the battery, you know, industry, they have battery centers like all over on the West Coast. Like when I was over there, I had no idea of that Blink was that, you know, ubiquitous over there. Like I had no idea. It was just so many that I was like, damn, I should have an electric car right now because this seems like it really is the way. So I know it's always in the cyclical and cyclicals according to I think it was not I was about to say Morgan Freeman. Morgan Bank, JP Morgan. You know, they said essentially that you know, people are going to be going into cyclicals this for this, you know, during this whole transition period, just because they want, you know, safer investments as opposed to the growth companies, which, you know, it's not really predicted of how high it could go.
Yeah. Is there any, like, what would be the trickle down effect from like a BLNK with other batteries? You think that, or that's just the
you know, crazy, because that is typically the only real battery that I know other than plug. I'm
so mad at plug. I got plug at $6 for free, and I was at 22. It's crazy. I remember being in plug at $6.90.
You know, see, I remember looking at plug like, what did they do?
Exactly.
I need to figure it out. Like, what's going on? I need to do more effective research.
Right. I was like, what is energy cell? I'm messing up.
And I'm more of a biotech guy, so like I never really gravitated to actually, like, you know, splitting of hydrogen cells. And, you know, even though I like things on a anatomical level, that's not something that I say, hey, you know, I want to know what's happening in these you know, human cells. But who knew that? Or, you know, I think Daryl, I think you knew that plug was going to do well. I remember you mentioning it in the chat before. I don't know if Daryl's there.
Sorry. Say that. Remember what?
No, I wasn't sure if you were still in plug. I remember you mentioning that, or was it Davin that mentioned plug as being one to invest in for the future?
I think I may have said something in the past, but I think I gave up on it. I don't know. I don't know.
This one is definitely has been a wave rider.
Yes.
You know, as we see, right, it crossed over here.
Look at that.
So when it crossed, it came down, and it was coming down to test the 200 SMA. But what happened? It maintained support. And support was over here.
You know, what number is that?
Over here?
No. Where support is up, like right
over here.
Yeah,
this is what, $14.
And go back. What is it? That's 6.
This is 10. This is more 10.
Man, it was back there.
10, 9. Yeah, you probably had it over here. Yeah.
God damn, you saw that buy-in right there?
Yeah. There's a lot of that was you.
That was me.
One of these histograms that are blue was you.
Yeah. It was in that bitch. Swimming.
Man. So I only really dedicated this hour for, like, you know, dedicated this time for an hour. So I know that we have roughly like 10 minutes of like, you know, open discussion or anything like that. Are there anything that people want to like bring up? Like, I know you kind of see like some of my plays over here on the left-hand side. This is what I'm holding, like Palantir, Arayu. That's another electric car or electric vehicle around colleges, where it's a scooter. You know, GM, Fossil, because of, you know, consumable goods. Those are going to be given reports, retail, this upcoming week, and Snapchat. So, like, you know, you can see that. But is there anything that y'all want to bring up that you feel that, you know, that we didn't get a chance to highlight at all?
Right now, The only thing is, I can't even front the pre-market for AYRO because that right there can dictate when you said if it can hold
No,
420
buddy.
and not break 420.
No.
It should be
Thank you.
breakout on Monday morning where it could test $4.
Go to grandma. Go to grandma.
And that's a good price point to know that you could get out of and ride that wave from like $4, 410 to 485. It could still run up, but I would like to, if anything, that because that's not something that came into the chat late, and now that that's supposed to be an immediate, possibly a hit on Monday, and yeah, definitely that.
So, which I'll get to the option chart. But so Arayu or AYRO, I don't know how to really pronounce it, but essentially American made. They have these scooters that are all over college campuses and stuff like that. And again, we're in EV territory this week still. Hopefully this momentum will carry to NIO, right? So, or because of NIO. So I saw this on Thursday, and I typically like to look for these strong green candlesticks. You know, when you have a candlestick that goes like 10% on a day, 5 to 10, that says that, hey, this might be worthy of your time. Just kind of like, give us some extra insight. It's a low float stock. I believe it's around 20 million shares or 25 million shares. Actually, let me double check. So I don't, yeah, 24 million. Sorry. So it's 24 million. The short float was around, or the short interest was around 5%. So I see like a squeeze that could possibly happen. And the main reason why I say that is because after these, these two green days and their strong candlesticks, if we go back in the time, we see that back in May of this year, it was it hit resistance at this $4 area, right? That's where it tested. Actually, in the after hours, it tested that 417 area. That's where it says over here. It was like 417, 415 or so. That's where it went to in the after hours. So with this stock, what the biggest game plan, and like I said, is traded over the 5 EMA. The 5 EMA price is around three. Sorry, my laptop is freezing a little bit. It was like 370 something. Why are you freezing? Because I'm about to give up some good info.
Yeah,
that's
I remember that because that's exactly where I kind of got in that motherfucker. Around there.
Come on. What's going on? Oh, wash.
Hold up, Chief.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, so the 5 EMA price was at 337. The 20 SMA price is at 289, right? So that in itself is a nice little gap in price, right? But that's also that's also the downside risk, right? So you don't want it to come down to $2.89, even though the 200 SMA is like right there. Remember, once these moving averages start getting really close to each other, it can either push up or push down. This one is showing a lot of momentum on the push up.
Right.
So we see that there's a demand of buyers here creating the support. Because that demand is so strong here, there's nothing but supply that's available above, right? So when we think of supply and demand, we have to think of like, well, okay, if there's a lot of supply above, where else could it go? The highest all time is $28. I'm not that strong of a believer. Like I don't believe it can go that high. I'm not even going. Just the mere fact that it went to $7, like it could go to possibly $7 is enough for me. And the only reason why I even could consider $7 is that in the after hours, not the after hours, in the pre-market, let's say on Monday, it starts to pull back because of some type of news, right? This whole $5 area could become the next resistance, because once it pulls back, and I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but because I usually go from day to hour to minute, but once it pulls back, like it's going to test this It should possibly test this 200 SMA to make it be oversold. So when the market actually opens on Monday, we will see a retest of this high of $4.15. If it can retest that $4.15 high, it will go to its previous high, which we see that there's back resistance over here at like $4.13, $4.20, somewhere around there. All right. It can go to its next high, which is right around here. That's $4.65. Right. Already right there, that's a good enough gain. Right. But you know, some people, you know, don't want to sell. They want to hold a little bit longer, which I don't blame them in this market right now because there's a lot of fire going on. Maybe it can go here to this 480. Then maybe it can test these $5 area prices, right? But there's still a long way to go. Still have to pass that 480 area because there's still a lot of supply up here, right? So there's still like a lot of downside. And then plus on the hour, let's say it doesn't cross. Let's say, you know, that the MACD cross on the downside, it can still come down to $2.87. So that's why I said that downside is still $1, but you still have like an infinite, like almost $3 a share, you know, going up on the upside if possible. But I'm risking just for the 5. I just want that $5.
And I enjoyed even talking to y'all because, you know, you guys are in the chat. We don't really get to talk or anything, but I enjoyed talking to y'all as well and meeting y'all and good vibes. I love it.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
I love to share my mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like looking at Kodak now. Like I remember selling this up here and then was trying to gobble something down here and nothing happened. I was like, oh, you fucking shit. You ain't doing nothing. Like I lost like 30 cents a share on it. It's whatever.
Remember Kodak went up like out of nowhere?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck, Kodak Phil?
Apparently their CEO is like still being investigated for trading off shares for money that shares didn't even exist. You know, that is a common thing. Apparently, people are saying that shares exist
when they don't.
When they really don't, but exchanging that shit for money. And writing it down on paper.
Where does shit come from? Niggas is creating shares. All right.
I had no idea.
Oh, good.
Like, don't let me hold y'all.
Yeah,
thank you, Daryl, Davin, James, Yannick. Thank you so much for like entertaining this. And like I said, this is something that I definitely will continue to just do like 1 hour, you know, bring a stock up and say, hey, like let's discuss this and let's look at it. Maybe next week we can talk about Bitcoin. I don't really know much about Bitcoin, but I see it starting to make some movement.
Man, I told you. Man, I'm gonna say this real quick. I told him I was in at 8,900. Shit's at 16. He was watching me, y'all.
I was like, now I don't know. It's at 89. But yeah. I was totally wrong.
Yo, you watch it, word.
You know,
it's like 1 out of 70. I'll take mine. I'll take it.
The JP Morgan, not Morgan Freeman, you know, like bought in on crypto.